Good morning, Stage 6, Miss Oakley here. Today we're going to be conducting a burn test with 4 different fibre samples. The aim of this burn test is to observe a range of factors that will help us to determine the type of fibre that the sample is. So let's get to it.
The materials needed for the burn test include a tray, candle, lighter, tweezers, scissors, and safety glasses. Prior to beginning the burn test, I am cutting the fabric samples into smaller squares to allow for extra burning tests. This will help ensure the best chance at correctly identifying the fabric samples. When doing this, it is important to consider the scissors you are using. Make sure the scissors that you are using are able to cut fabric safely. Firstly, we need to light the candle, which will be the flame that is used to burn each piece of fabric. When doing this, it is important to be careful of the flame. It is a good idea to use the matches or a long lighter for this. If you are using a lighter, simply light the candle and release the trigger. There is no need to keep the lighter lit for an excess amount of time. Now to begin burning the fabrics. When doing this, use tweezers to hold the fabric over the flame. Observe how the fabric reacts as you move it towards the flame, when it is lit by the flame, and when it is burning. Observe the smell and the ash once the flame is out. The first fabric doesn't seem to be reacting much to the flame, but is slightly burning. When it becomes lit by the flame, it burns quickly and continues to burn when it's pulled away from the flame. When this fabric is burnt, it smelt like burnt paper and seems to have left a greyish ash. Fabric sample 2 seems to curl away as it approaches the flame, and it melts slowly when in the flame. It also burns with a bit of black smoke. When removed from the flame, it goes out quickly and leaves a hard ball on burnt places once settled. Sample 3 is smoking and shrinking away from the flame. When in the flame, it's burning slowly, but when removed, the flame goes out quickly. I'm unsure of the smell to this sample, but it has left a hard grey blob, but not so much ash. The final piece of fabric shrinks away from the flame. When in the flame, it smokes and burns, and when removed, the flame goes out. This fabric burns black and powdery ash is left. When this fabric is burning, it smells like burnt hair. Now we have conducted our burn test, it is time to analyse the results to determine the fabric type of each sample. To do this, we will be referring to the table from the Peters and Castle textbook. We will compare each recorded characteristic of the burning test to the characteristic description in the textbook. For example, The first sample just had a slight burn, but it didn't shrink away. When in the flame, it burnt quickly. So far, it seems to be aligning with cotton, but let's continue to check the other characteristics. When removed from the flame, sample 1 continued to burn and it left a greyish ash. Both characteristics of cotton. It also smelt like burning paper. Therefore, the sample 1 is cotton. When looking at sample 2, we can see that polyester and wool shrink away from the flame, but only polyester melts. Our sample and polyester also extinguish rather quickly and both leave behind hard black residue. Therefore, polyester must be sample 2. Fabric 3 shrinks away from the flame and burns slowly. This is common with a few fabrics in the Peters and Castle table. However, it had a unique smell and left a hard bead when it settled. This seemed to align with nylon. Sample 4 became very apparent to me as wool with its smell of burning hair. However, it also aligned with the shrinking, smouldering, and crushable black ash, which are characteristics of wool identified in the textbook. As you can see, we have now correctly labelled the fabric samples. Sample 1 is cotton, sample 2 is polyester, 3 is nylon, and sample 4 is wool. If you are unsure of how we determined these results, it's suggested that you refer back to the recording of the fabric burning, the descriptions we recorded, and the table from the textbook, which states the correct characteristics of each fabric. Here is an image of the fabrics correctly labelled for you to refer back to in case you forgot what each fabric looked like. I hope from today's burn test you have been able to understand the characteristics behind each fabric sample and how we got them. Next lesson, we will be looking at yarn types and structures. Bye for now.